Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Learning Fives for our final matchup of the day. My name is Niberia, and I am joined here by the slightly elusive, slightly reclusive, but always talented and fun, Zeta. Zeta, how'd you like that intro, man? I think he hated it so much that he died, but that's okay. While he recovers from that, let's intro the team.
There is a mute button that isn't physical. I forget these things. Hello.
Nice. We're off to a great start, man.
Yeah, you know, virtual mute buttons don't really have a place in the world. You need a physical one because it's either on or it's off. That's it, man.
That's what I say, but it's so hard to find anything with like an actual physical button half the time.
I actually have a tilt to mute microphone, so it's perfect.
Oh, that's so nice.
It's either in your face or it's not. And what's in your face right now is the fact that Vladimir and the ever-present Morgana, the Irelia, these are all taken off the table, all very strong picks in their own right, of course, but especially so when you consider the fact that Duberito, beyond the Xayah, which is always in his pool, generally doesn't play very many of these mages. We'll see if he's rectified that behavior going forwards, but if they're all taken off the table, he's forced onto something like a Xayah, and there's a Vlad up, he's going to absolutely get run over. So they don't want that to happen. They take it off the table, and instead they go for a different run at UComp, featuring Kled, featuring Warwick, two very feral champions with tons of engage.
I'm hoping they go for like a nice team. Oh, well, they lost the Trundle, so now they can't go for like the snarling maw composition, but Trundle's going to be a nice pickup there for team best of two. It's been a pretty common pickup in almost all of the leagues. You can flex it top, you can flex it support, you can flex it jungle. And that's sort of the name of the game as of late in the meta here, is just, can you flex it and where to? If you can flex it 2 positions or more, probably going to be picked up. So we see the Trundle, the Yasuo picked up the response. Might be that reworked Aatrox. Going to be exciting to see that if it is locked in.
It would be a little bit perplexing if it was, because I think that the reworked Aatrox still has quite a few bugs with his movement and overall consistency issues in terms of putting out damage. He has a lot of trouble actually doing DPS, and if you're going to pick the reworked Aatrox, you might as well be picking something that does the damage and does a consistency. Something with Riven, Renekton, these are all champions that also animation cancel and still have great bruiser potential. But with Kled on the table already, if they were to pick up the Aatrox, where would he go? That's the other problem. So they don't actually pick that up. Going to go for the Malzahar instead. And with the Kai'Sa off the table, the only thing left for gold funneling would be a Kindred.
I highly doubt we're going to see that. So let's assume that gold funneling is off the table for now. The Anivia ban coming out there on the side of best of 2. The response going to be the Lucian pickup and the very, very quick Varus response there. Well, we at least know our 80 carries.
I mean, yeah, it's very interesting that they are picking 80 carries at all. We've seen, of course, in the LCK, such a resurgence of just pure mage CC heavy champions in the bottom lane. And then even the Xayah Rakan has been the mid lane pair of choice up in that region. We'll see if any of these are flex. I don't think so, given the fact that they have Varus with the TP, given the fact that they've got themselves a Lucian. These are mostly going to be bottom lane champions, means no gold funneling, a very straight up composition, and in a straight up fight, there's almost no peel to stop Kled, Warwick, Nautilus, etc.
And that's, well, obviously the fact that you brought it up means that it's really concerning, Zeta. You could argue that maybe they can peel just by being the first ones to go in, but that, as everyone knows, is ridiculous. If you have a Varus, you need some sort of peel. He does have that chain of corruption to give himself at least the little bit of lockdown on one, but if you have, like you said, at least 3 engaged champs with, or if you count Malzahar with the Flash ultimate, Duburito is going to be in a whole lot of trouble. The QSS early would not be a surprise, but what does their composition even offer for them? They've lost this sort of frontline peel position.
The Pyke has very much trouble into the Nautilus as well. The Yasuo into Malzahar. I mean, that's going to be a very difficult lane. In addition to the fact that Yasuo doesn't have a plethora of ways to get his knockup off, he doesn't really have a way to stay alive either. You mentioned the fact that they don't have a front line. That's going to be a huge factor in this game. I think their only strong point as of right now is the Fiora in the top lane, right? Fiora does insanely well into Kled. If Zero to Hero is given a lot of gold, if he's given a lot of protection, if he's given a lot of space on the map to play around, they can win a split push game, because the only thing that they do win is they have more damage. In a 4 versus 4 scenario, the front lines being much smaller, the back lines being much closer, means that they actually have the potential to run over the 4v4, or at least not get run over themselves, right? Someone has to go stop the Fiora, which means one of the engaged tools will be gone, or one of the instant wave clears will be gone. The Malzahar might be sent to try and deal with him, but anyway that they can get someone to go towards the Fiora would be a great game plan. However, none of it matters if the Fiora doesn't get ahead. So they have to get Zero to Hero ahead before any of this can even come into play.
Which means they're going to have a lot of focus there from the jungler, and maybe even from Get Me Fed there in the mid lane might be wanting to roam up into the top lane. But how is this Trundle going to do against Warwick Kled in the 2v2? Are they going to have a lot of trouble? Because Warwick's pretty good at dueling. He has a lot of healing. Kled as well has a lot of steroids for quick engagements there. So how is this pressure going to materialize?
If Trundle goes towards the top side of the map and he is in a 2 versus 2, they pretty much are always going to lose that, at least until Trundle gets ultimate. Once he gets ultimate, it turns into almost like a 40-60, because you still have, as you said, a lot of CC, a lot of regeneration. Trundle doesn't have that great region until he gets a couple items rolling, and that means he doesn't really do that well trying to get Fiora ahead. What he has to do is he has to try and make the Warwick either answer him in the bottom or middle lane, or invade the Warwick while he is actually focusing top lane. Because after all, Bale is going to be saying, okay, your game plan is Fiora. I need to stop the game plan. I'm going to go top lane because my other lanes are going to win or be safe lanes. So what he needs to do is he needs to either affect a different lane or stop Warwick from being able to farm when he gets back in the jungle from ganking. So those are his only 2 options in the 2v2. He's not going to do that well, so I'd much rather see him go for those.
We'll see which one he goes for as we get into game between Best of 2 and eBay accounts. Stick around. We'll be right back with some Learning 5 show match action.
S'il vous plaît. s'il vous plaît. Hey, hey, no. Yes, yes, Look at me in the eye, fashion smile. Turn on that child, sashay by. Hey, no. Feel nothing, cold as ice. Act like tomorrow is when you die. No, feel nothing. Roll the dice. Pick the diamonds out the sky. S'il vous plaît. Fine young thing, do your game. Make the tides rise and boil hot. Armies fall, kings out under your spell. Little do they know. Yes, no. No. Yes. No.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to today's final Learning 5 show match. With the traditional pause, we're also going to go through another tradition, which is introducing the teams. On the blue side, we have team Best of Two. In the top lane, 0-2 Hero. In the jungle, Elucida, Get Me Fed. In the mid lane, and Duberito and Chavy Chav holding down the bot lane.
And of course, that means that their enemies are going to be eBay accounts, if I am right. Is that correct?
You
That
are.
seems like it is correct. EDR in the top lane, it's Bale. In the jungle, the Chatomir. In mid lane, Panther. At AD carry, proper Panda. At support, and you know, what would League of Legends be without pauses, right? I mean, without pauses, we would have no time to sit back and reflect on the things that Riot has truly brought to this game in the last year. Last year, we've had such wonderful things as the demolishment of AD carry as an establishment. Fantastic thing. We've had champions such as Zoe, so interesting, introduced into the meta. You know, everyone loves to get one shot on a 10-second ratio. That's a great thing as well. And without these things, right, without the drastic changes, why would anyone still play League of Legends? Moreover, why is anyone still playing League of Legends as of right now? I don't know. What I do know is that we're watching it still, and that means that we are going to get into game with a rather traditional start, maybe an invade here.
Hopefully, we'll see a little bit of invade surprises, a little bit of excitement to keep us on our feet, on our toes. We see the 5-man group coming out from Best of Two, so we suspect some cheesiness might be in their future. It's Bale going to be the first one to spot it out, but Chavy Chav looking to get the Bone Spear. He does get it. It's Bale in a whole lot of trouble, almost certainly going to die for first blood here.
Ooh, and they
Thought the
give
fear
it
was
over
enough.
to the Varus. I mean, that's basically picture perfect. You blow his flash for no summoner spells burned, and then you get the kill. I mean, what more can you ask for at that point?
Well, if it were me, I'd say nothing. But if I were best of two, apparently I'd say a second kill. They're going pretty aggressive here, maybe looking for someone in the bush. They don't find anyone. They're going to back off. And I was going to talk a little bit about teleport AD carry, and Zeta, I am stubborn, so I'm going to do it anyways. I was going to say that one of the great things about teleport AD carry that isn't the reason you get it for most people is that if you get that first blood and you're forced to go to lane early, you can get that nice, convenient early back and not be punished at all, especially when you're not answered by another teleport AD carry. But those back timings are a good reason to take it. So that's my small treatise on first bloods and teleport AD carry.
We'll see if that makes it through the peer review process or not, because after all, AD carries as a whole aren't doing so hot for the most part. You know, they have a lot of problems, just like EDR has in the mid lane. Elucida, he thought he wanted a piece of it, but that Kled is still a little bit too far up, and they did actually end up sending the Mal's top. I remember I mentioned the fact that Kled actually gets dunked on by this Fiora. That is still very much the case, so they wanted to try and mitigate that, but does he do well against Yasuo? That's not the case. He's still getting very low.
Oh!
Oh, and he lives through the last tick of Ignite because of the flash and Q. Ooh, that is... There's
brutal.
nothing much you can say about that besides the fact that, you know, Get Me Fed had only one auto attack that he needed to use in order to get the kill. Or space himself out so that he died to Ignite, because he actually did enough damage. The Kled would have burned down to the Ignite, most likely, if he just backed off. He didn't. He goes down. Kled gets a kill, and now the lane gets very hard.
Absolutely, and I mean, this is something you'd see in top lane, right? So it's not like this is a foreign matchup or anything. Yasuo's going to have a lot of trouble before he gets a few items, but if the Kled starts snowballing, a few items turns into a lot of items, and a lot of items turns into next game we'll get them, guys. But unfortunately for them, they might not have a next game, and they might not have a bot lane for much longer. Duperito going to be the target of the gank here. He gets taken out, no problem. Chavy Chav just going to sadly bone spear in the wrong direction.
And again, we talked about the winning conditions for this team. The team's winning conditions were 0 to hero, getting an advantage, being able to snowball that, winning from side lane pressure. If the rest of the map is really far ahead and he is not, there's absolutely no way they can affect that plan onto the map. So keep your eye on this top lane for when he actually gets kills. They're actually swapping the Fiora back. Fiora can still mid lane. So this is a much better scenario because it means that he can shut down the Kled basically anytime, no matter how fed he is.
Unless he gets engaged on a great riposte there to get the stun, but he's going to have to start backing out soon because he's not going to be able to duel that. He gets out in time, only half health. Maybe he can recover it, but Elucida not going to be as lucky. He gets feared. He's got the red buff, trapped himself with his own pillar.
No flash though. Remember, they got the flash early on the Warwick from the invade, so he can't actually finish the kill off here. He will take the chickens, you know. Colonel Sanders is a small consolidation prize, though, compared to that Trundle. If he had gotten the reset there, killed the Trundle off, that would have been a fantastic start to this game, because a third kill plus a jungle reset would be basically the death knell for the bottom half of this map.
It sounds, well, it looks to me, Zeta, like It's Bale heard you. He was looking for an aggressive attack onto Elucida once again, not going to go for it, instead looking into this mid lane. Never mind, he just backed off, and I look a little bit like a fool, but that's okay. That's what casting is all about.
Actually, casting is about taking your voice and making it do weird things for money. But, you know.
That describes a lot of jobs, really.
And we're not going to talk about that anymore because we actually do want to keep this a PG program. However,
I was talking about voice acting, Zeta. Jeez.
I don't know what you were talking about. What I do know is that 0 to hero has a little bit of a problem here.
He is going to eat half of his health and damage, just pops the Scarl, which means Pocket Pistol is the only tool available to EDR, but 0 to hero is going to be ganked as well from It's Bale. Able
No
to
flash
force
still.
him off. if nothing
Still
else.
no flash. 5 minutes, 30 seconds in. He'll get it in another 15 seconds. 0 to hero. Keep in mind, he will actually die if he comes back into the lane. But Pyke sort of scares off his lane opposition. Remember, he is going to remount soon, and EDR with a level 6, he's going to be able to use that rolling engage to finish off the Fiora.
And if Fiora gets finished off, like we've been saying pretty much all game, that might be the plans of best of 2 finished off, but they look like they're going for a play here in the bottom lane. Proper Panda getting pulled back, CC'd up. The heal not going to be enough to save him as Elucida takes the second kill for his team.
0 to hero is getting baited. He's just waiting around. He's trying to absorb this huge minion wave. Should have backed a lot earlier in order to maintain his health and still get this gold, but for now, he's actually going to be able to be dove for quite some time. Pyke lands the pull.
Good pull, but no follow-up available there from Duberito. They're playing a little bit carefully here. Perhaps they're worried about their mid laner. They're just like, okay, if we all don't do anything, maybe the jungler will go elsewhere. Sort of like how
if we don't
Raptors
move,
have
you
movement
can't see us. By the way, that's not the case, actually. Raptors will see you if you aren't moving, so don't listen to Jurassic Park. You will die if you are in a dinosaur attack scenario and you stand still. Fun fact.
I mean, generally in any scenario, when your life is in mortal danger, standing still seems to be the worst option out of the bunch, 9 times out of 10. I'm not going to pretend I'm a bear expert, but standing still there...
No. You don't stand still. You make yourself big, right? So start bulking, grab like 52 McDonald's cheeseburgers, and go to town.
Speaking of going to town, Elucida and 0 to hero trying to do their best, but Little Piggy rolls away. EDR going to be safe all the way home with that charge.
Remember, Chadamir still has ultimate. If you see Get Me Fed and he gets caught out one more time under turret even, he still could drop. This is a very, very healthy Malzahar, and he has more than enough HP to tank 2 to 3 turret shots and burn him down.
Yeah, this has been, speaking of, there it is, the free solo kill. But this has been really concerning early laning phase for best of 2 here, because both their solo laners are kind of just getting shoved in and poked out repeatedly. And it doesn't seem like they're responding well enough to make up for it. And with eBay accounts picking up that Infernal Drake, that just further snowballs things in their favor.
Yeah, and that's the real problem. When you have a Malzahar in a long lane, he's not even in the short lane anymore, right? He has opened up a world of paths for Trundle. He's not warding. He has no freaking vision on the entire top side of the map. But we've never seen Elucida. Elucida's still focusing mid lane. He's still trying to get his 0 to hero fed. We mentioned you do not win the 2v2. He can't actually be forcing these because he's just wasting time that he could actually be spending getting his other lanes ahead.
And that leaves him with really no good options if he wants the Fiora to win, except maybe he can try and win a duel in the jungle.
He can win a duel. He can win 1v1. Because he is 6, remember? This is a very, very strong man, but the Fiora, what is he doing? 0 to hero has no idea that there was a fight going on. He doesn't leave lane, and so the Warwick gets out for free.
Unfortunate, but they might be able to get the pick onto EDR here. Popping that Skarl, the great pillar from Elucida, not going to be enough. Pocket pistol keeping him safe. EDR has been playing these ganks incredibly well so far, Zeta.
Well, in the shortest lane possible, Kled is actually almost basically impossible to kill. When you have true damage and execute, I mean, that's enough. You know, that'll do it. But besides that, it's really hard for this 2 versus 2 pair to actually kill the Kled ever. We mentioned it's super hard for them to actually get a kill. They need more members. And so finally, finding space somehow, early backs from that Panther and Proper Panda in the bottom lane allow Chav and his partner Duberito to roam up, get damage on the turret, and get a kill onto the Kled, which would not have been possible without that extra damage.
Absolutely, but the question remains, is it going to be enough? Oh, unfortunate miss of the chain of corruption there. But, you know, it's always going to be the question of, is what they've done enough? Flashing and bone spearing not going to help them in their situation because they need momentum. We've been talking about it all game, and I'm sure the viewers are going to be sick of us talking about it by the time the game is over, but that's because it's so important that they get 0 to hero rolling. They get their team
See, the thing is, they can't actually get him rolling. He has to get him rolling. The way that they get him rolling is by not being there at all. You know, in the 1 versus 1, when you pick that champion, you have to be winning, and if you're not winning, you shouldn't be playing it. What they need to do now is they need to say, okay, whatever happens with the Fiora happens, let's go kill Vlad.
Oh, but instead they decide to go kill Chad. They're able to get the knock of the pillar, but no, great response. The 3-man gank in, and in the bot lane, a similar story goes down as Best of 2 has lost to in a cross-map fight, and they also lose the tower.
I would joke about level 2 Lucian power spikes, but it's actually the Nautilus here that wins it for them. So much health, resistances, and CC to actually finish off the Varus before there can even be a response, right? The Pike, you see him try to stun, it just doesn't matter. Proper Panda's still at 100% HP, so is Panther, and there's no way for that dual lane to actually kill them. The Varus doesn't have enough damage to actually enable the Pike to start executing people, and this is the real problem with running 80 carries in Pike. We've seen 80 carries in Pike for quite some time now. Ever since he came out, people were trying to figure out how to shoehorn them into his lane. He's never had good win rates with them, though. The best win rates that you see on Pike are actually from mages in the bottom lane. Morgana, Lux even, Syndra. These are the champions that play with him very well because they not only have CC, but they have great burst combos that, while not enough to actually finish someone off, do enough damage to set him up for the execute.
Absolutely. We see a little bit of a gank coming out. A pillar might be enough to lock down EDR. The grand challenge has gone out, been issued. Zero to Hero looking for the kill. He's able to get it with a flash over the wall. But in the top lane, speaking of, Get Me Fed, trying to live up to his own name, getting himself fed. Well, more accurately, getting the chat fed.
But that's only because of Zero to Hero's roam. He would have not had a chance to live if that had been Warwick instead, but is Bale. He's on the other side of the map, not actually doing much besides farming. We haven't seen him affect much of a gank recently, and it's kind of hurting his lanes. You know, bottom lane is still winning, but he himself needs to start putting some more pressure on the map. The last time we saw him, it was actually ganking Get Me Fed in the top lane. That was very good, but they need more.
Absolutely, and at the very least, they picked up the Herald. Dubarito trading ults here with Proper Panda, but Elucida says, that's not enough. Let's get the pillar, let's get the CC. But no, the turn comes out from eBay accounts, and the culling goes down as they try to chase onto Dubarito. Not able to get more than the one here, but a huge amount of pressure now on this bottom tower.
Yeah, that bot skill definitely paying off for them as well, because as soon as they go in, right? As soon as you see them trying to kill the Nautilus, you realize there's no way they're bringing him down in any sort of reasonable amount of time. He flashes to buy a little bit more space, and then they don't even need the teleport to finish in order to make the kill happen.
And Dubarito getting picked off there, having moved a little bit too far forward. Chavi Chav is going to try and make his way out, but, well, actually, he's fine. I figured that 3 people would be enough to pick him out,
but they don't need to kill him, you know? What do they gain from killing the Pike? Because the Pike doesn't do anything to any of their members. That's the real thing. So if they were to spend time killing him, that they could be spending time shoving Wave instead, they're probably wasting a little bit more than they need to. Get Me Fed ults.
Last breath, Ignite, not going to be enough to secure the kill for him as EDR picks up yet another kill here, 3-2-0 against the 0-3-1 of Get Me Fed. Not having a good game is this Yasuo.
Yeah, Yasuo's matchup into Kled is less than stellar. His matchup into Mal's is very, very difficult. These are not easy matchups to play, and to say that they're entirely skill reliant is to give a little too little credit, almost. I mean, these are nigh impossible to win on the Yasuo's part without some intervention by jungler.
Oh, great infinite duress off the pick. The riposte not going to be enough to get a stun, and Zero to Hero is going to go down for his first death of the game. Things are looking ugly for best of 2 here, Zeta.
You can't stand in unwarded bushes that close to a drag, and more importantly, why would you stand in an unwarded bush that close to the drag? You know it's already down. At that point, you're just basically inviting chaos and disaster into your life, and of course, entropy catches up to all of us as it does to Zero to Hero. He will go down, and you look up at this bottom side of the jungle, there's a reason that you can't spend time in there. It's lit up like a Christmas tree. Every single bush is rewarded. They have great vision control on the enemy side of the map, and if eBay accounts are going to be stopped, it has to start with the vision and not dying in the side lane.
Yeah, Get Me Fed, gonna have to be a lot more careful in these 1v1s, but as you were mentioning earlier, it's such a hard matchup that there's really at this point not a whole lot he can do other than try and go for a sort of non-aggression, non-interaction pact where he's like, okay, I see Kled, I get to twiddle my thumbs for a little bit. But that's not exactly proactive.
I mean, Kled violates the NAP all the time, right? He's just going in, he's ulting, he's casting every ability in the playbook. because he can't, right? And there's no way Yasuo can kill him. And even in the 2 versus 1, he's still going to have a lot of time before he goes down. So he's just going to keep ulting. The Yasuo won't be able to do much of anything until quite some time later in the game. And because he's not tanky, because he's not actually large, he's going to have a very hard time even when it does get that late.
Oh, 0 to Hero getting almost picked off here. The culling should secure the kill. One sad little auto, not going to be enough to make up for the catch there on the side of eBay accounts, who are just kind of taking control of this game. We see the Nethergrass over the wall, into the hook, into the kill. And there's not a whole lot to talk about in that team fight, or indeed in the game writ large right now, because eBay accounts are just taking the game by the neck and just like ringing it about and throwing it back and forth. It's like the Hulk versus Loki. Best of two.
At that
not
point
gonna
in
make
the
it out.
game, it is basically just a matter of time, right? We mentioned earlier, right? They have a run at you composition. Nautilus so strong when he gets ahead. Warwick as well. They're going to try one more fight in there with the ultimates, but it's just not enough. Even with the executes onto Pike, get me fed. He is trying his very best to bring down the Lucian, but he cannot find those kills.
And it doesn't look like anything more will come out, because one death, 0 to Hero, has been taken down in the fight. eBay accounts lost their jungler, and they decide, okay, we need to back off, we need to reset. But they've gotten the bottom lane inhibitor turret, they've gotten the bottom lane inhibitor. Baron isn't even on the map for another 3 minutes, and they have this massive lead, Zeta. 7 kills, 5k gold, 4 towers. Is there even anything best of 2 can do to recover at this point?
What they can do, and this is a multi-step process, if they win the fight at Baron, just bait it out. Baron still does a little bit of damage. It's a 20-minute Baron, so they're going to be a little bit low. Try and win that fight. If you win that fight and get the Baron, they can possibly come back into this. Remember, it's only a 4,000 gold lead. Granted, at 17 minutes, that's still a significant sum of gold, but it's not insurmountable. This isn't a gold lead that is, 10k. It's not, a k per minute. This is not something that you just automatically lose from. It's just a matter of where the gold is. The composition, right, is Warwick, Kled, Malzahar, Lucian, Nautilus. 4 of those champions you really can't kill in any reasonable span of time. And the 5th one, once he presses ultimate, he's basically done anyway. The Malzahar, if you kill him after he's ulted, it doesn't matter. So, to that sense, they just don't have the damage to actually kill these members. They need something like a turret, like the Baron, in order to add damage to the fight so that they can possibly win.
And with the way eBay accounts are playing right now, that doesn't seem like it's going to happen. They've been playing pretty carefully, pretty controlled, and they've just been getting
Look at the
picked.
flank from
They've not
Warwick.
been the ones to be picked out. Maybe this is the chance. The tower is pounding down onto proper Panda. Its Bale has to flash out in the backside of the fight, but there's no engage from best of 2. There's no chance they can get on and get some damage down. And 0 to Hero almost gets caught out there. Good riposte to save him, but it's looking real dire.
Yeah, the Dire are indeed winning this one quite heartily, in fact. But besides that point, there's still hope on the Radiant side. They could look for a little bit of a play, maybe get something back into their game, possibly getting a bit... I'm not even going to go into that. No, we're going to stop with the Dota puns. We're going to go back to actual League, because I basically abandoned all hope that I would get a good one in. Sneaked it. But besides it, EDR he's huge, right? He's got level 12 at this point in the game, 19 minutes in. He's got so much HP, a second revive, proper Panda has CC. If they land and engage, and it's not the best one, if they don't kill the Lucian instantly, if they don't find a way to peel the Warwick off, they're still going to die. And that means getting 1 kill, possibly 2, and then resetting, getting another couple kills. But now it's all coming down to the wire.
EDR pretty low on health, forced off the tower. They're trying to put out as much pressure as they can. Tower is a little bit below quarter health right now. It looks like eBay account's going to back off and wait for the next wave. Dragon is spawning in 10 seconds and Baron in 5, but I don't think that eBay accounts wants to turn off this.
If they did, now would be the time to Baron, right? Bottom lane still has supers pushing in. You need a minimum of 1 to 2 members to deal with those. It would be the perfect time to go to Baron, but they're going to push for the inhibitor and the fight.
Charge comes out, the riposte to stop it, the chain of corruption, so much CC. They might have gotten the return disengage they needed, but no, they lose one. They've lost another. Dubarito getting taken out on the backside. They've lost all of their damage. Best of two, losing 4 for 1 in that fight. They could have had something, but instead they lose everyone with an ace. And with that, they are going to lose the game, going down to eBay accounts. A brilliant early game, brilliant control of the pressure across the map for the whole game from them.
And it was just start the train, get it rolling down the tracks, and then just completely cut off the brakes. There is no way to stop that composition once it starts rolling when you don't have CC of your own, when you don't have a front line. And they showed their drafting skills. I really do think this one was an example of a perfect draft and then execution to match, right? You didn't have perfect execution, of course. They did flub it a little bit. They did give up a couple kills early. That doesn't matter. When you draft that well, you can overcome a lot of these, early game missteps.
Absolutely, and they did an excellent job with that. In fact, only 3 players had deaths, totaling 6, so that's a pretty good game for them. 10-1 towers. We'll say it's pretty dominating. With that, eBay accounts will take the final show match of the evening. But tomorrow we have a few more from 2 to 4 p.m. EDT. You can come swing by and watch 3 more Learning 5 show matches. But if you can't be bothered to remember that, you can always follow the Twitch or look in the description for our Discord or Twitter. For us here at Learning 5s, we are going to wrap it up, and thank you all for coming out. From myself and Zeta, we hope you have a wonderful rest of the evening.